Hamas is brutal. They're terrorists who do not care about people, neither Palestinians nor Israelis. After Saturday, you would think there is agreement on that. Well, think again. People are lining up to support Hamas and to blame Israel for what has happened. They're blaming Israel for what it has suffered. Now, let's be clear about two things here. First of all, we sympathize with Palestine. They have become refugees in their own land. It is wrong. But whose fault is that? Was it the fault of the 260 youngsters who attended the Reem Music Festival? Was it the fault of the children in Kfar Aza? Was it the fault of the grandmother abducted from Beirut? I don't think so. Killing innocent Israelis does not advance the Palestinian cause. It is not activism. It is bloodlust. And that's point number one. Point number two, Hamas is not Palestine. They are a terror group that rules over Gaza. The last elections in Gaza were held in 2006. It's been around 18 years. 18 years, no elections. You cannot call yourself a legitimate party, a legitimate government. If the Hamas is so popular, why not hold elections? Why not prove their popularity then? Let me tell you what an opinion poll found in July 2023. 62% Gazans wanted Hamas to uphold the ceasefire. 62% wanted the ceasefire. They did not want Hamas to start a war with Israel. And what did Hamas do? The exact opposite. The same poll revealed more interesting data. 50% Gazans wanted Hamas to stop demanding Israel's destruction. 70% wanted the Palestinian Authority to take over Gaza. The Palestinian Authority rules over West Bank. Most Gazans prefer them over the Hamas. So like I said, Hamas is not Palestine. And most of us understand this difference. Even major world powers do. Listen to the European Union's foreign policy chief.
The Palestinian Authority is our partner. We don't deal with Hamas, but yes, we support and we deal and we work together with the Palestinian Authority. And not all the Palestinian people are terrorists.
So it's as simple as it gets. But tell that to some so-called activists. A student organization at Harvard University has released a statement on Saturday's attack, and this is what they say. Today's events did not occur in a vacuum. The apartheid regime is the only one to blame here. They're talking about Israel. How about that? This is the message from America's elite university. 1,200 Israelis dead, but the whole thing is Israel's fault. It makes total sense. You also have pro-Palestinian rallies across the world. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone is free to organize rallies or protest. But look at what's happening at these events. In New York, people are holding up the swastika, the Nazi symbol. In Sydney, they're chanting anti-Semitic slogans. In London, Jewish eateries are being attacked. How is any of this helping Palestine? It isn't. But it exposes their true colors. By all means, protest against Israel if you want to, express solidarity with Palestine if you want to, but at the same time, condemn what happened on Saturday. What is wrong is wrong. You cannot justify that by pointing at the past. Some habitual offenders are openly supporting Hamas, like Iran and Hezbollah. Some mainstream politicians are doing so behind the scenes, like the liberal Democrats in America. You may know these faces: Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. They're members of the US Congress. Neither of them has condemned the Hamas. Instead, they're asking the US to stop helping Israel. There is clear anti-Semitism at play here. Take Ilhan Omar, for example. In 2012, she accused Israel of hypnotizing the world. Now, to give you some context, hypnotism is linked to an offensive Jewish stereotype. In 2019, she did it again. She accused Israeli lobbies of using Benjamin's baby. Again, to give you some context, Benjamin's baby refers to $100 bills. And Omar was confronted about this. She said she was not aware of the stereotype around Jews and money. How believable. My point is a simple one. You can support Palestine without celebrating the murder of innocent people in Israel. But I guess that's too much to ask. Similar things are happening in India's neighborhood as well. Take a look at these pictures. In Pakistan, Israeli flags are being burnt. Some Pakistanis are praising the Hamas attack. They're calling it historic. Rallies were held in Bangladesh as well. Thousands marched with Palestinian flags. They demanded an end to Israeli airstrikes. Protests were also held in Muslim-majority Indonesia. And all of this is political support. Let's look at monetary support. Where does the financial help from Hamas come from? For Hamas come from? Where do they get their money? A number of places, like taxes, for example, that is one source of their income. Hamas collects tax on goods imported from Egypt. In 2021, this was worth $12 million per month. Iran also gives them a lot of money, around $100 million every year. Then you have Qatar. Their total financial assistance to Gaza stands at $1.8 billion. Their annual aid is $360 million. That's a lot of money. Do you know who handles this money? The Hamas does. There are reports of Hamas holding on to this money, of diverting these aid funds. This money was meant for Palestinians, for their progress, for their welfare. But who uses it? The Hamas does. So cutting off funds is a top priority because you need money to carry out the kind of attack they did on Saturday. You need money to fire thousands of rockets. Does that mean that aid should be totally cut off? That's not what we are saying. Most Palestinians, including in Gaza, live on aid. If you cut that off, people will starve to death. But blank checks should end. The aid should be delivered and monitored by global agencies. The likes of Hamas should not be able to touch that money. If not, the aid will never reach the people and the attacks will not stop.